What up, rainbow peeps and friends? Welcome to Verde's folding chair. As you can see me. Yes, that is what's new and different about season 3 of Verde's folding chair. I'm stepping even more outside of my comfort zone. And now you can catch me on video if that's your preference. You can also catch me on audio if you'd like to just continue to listen that way. I'm definitely trying to reach more people, so I am expanding. So bear with me as I learn the ropes of a video recording. So let's jump into it. Welcome to Verde's Folding Chair, a podcast about making space at the table for Black women, independent writers, and marginalized people. Verde's Folding Chair is about making space for our voices, existence, and lived experiences. Zora Neale Hurston said, "If you're silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it." This podcast is the opposite of being silent. Come on and bring your folding chairs and pull up at the table. I promise to make space for you, rainbow peeps and friends. The first segment of Verde's Folding Chair will always and forever be dedicated to the Black woman, by a Black woman, but intended for everyone. The most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the Black woman. The most neglected person in America is the Black woman, Malcolm X. Black women are a reflection of God. Black women are beautiful. Black women are talented. Black women are creative. Black women are determined. Black women are powerful and dangerous. Black women deserve better. All right. So today we're going to talk about Miss Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth. But first, happy Juneteenth, y'all. So the country celebrated Black liberation and freedom yesterday, but we are celebrating all week long and all the way up until July 4th. So what is Juneteenth? Some of y'all may be asking that question right about now, because I understand that many Americans may not even know what Juneteenth is, or probably never even heard of it. Juneteenth is Black Americans' Independence Day. Slavery was officially abolished in the United States in 1863. However, Galveston and other Confederate states, enslaved Africans were still forced to remain in slavery. Let me say that differently. Black Americans were still forced to remain in slavery. Yes, you heard that right. Slavery was constitutionally illegal, but some states continued to enslave people. It was not until June 19, 1865, when Union troops marched into Galveston and other states, by the way, forcing the end of slavery in these places. All right. So I just wanted to drop that small piece of history on, well, it's not really a small piece. I made it small. Please make sure you go check out and learn more about Juneteenth and this history, which is American history. All right. So I just wanted to drop that part of this United States holiday before I talk about the grandmother of Juneteenth, Miss Opal Lee, which is who this segment is all about. So Miss Opal Lee was born in Marshall, Texas in 1926. At the age of 10, her family moved to Fort Worth, Texas, into a predominantly white neighborhood. And then on June 19th, 1936, she was 10 years old. An angry mob of white people came into their home and burnt it to the ground. Opal recalls the police standing by and watching and warning her father, who had a gun, that if he busted a cat, they would let the mob have them. It wasn't lost on Miss Opal Lee the significance of this day, okay? Because this happened to her and her family, and it was something she never forgot. Okay, a retired educator and a lover of history, Miss Lee understood that Juneteenth was more than a festival, because this happened on June 19th, 1936, y'all. So it happened on Juneteenth, okay, about 80 something years ago. So her desire to see the holiday recognized federally by the United States became her mission. So beginning in 2016, Miss Lee decided to walk from Fort Worth, Texas to Washington, D.C. That's about 1,400 miles. Okay? And she did this to bring awareness to Juneteenth. She says she figured someone would take notice of a little old lady in tennis shoes trying to get to Congress. Each day, she walked 2.5 miles in commemoration of the 2.5 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, in order for slavery to end. So she started up a petition as well, hoping to get about 100,000 signatures. And then ultimately, the petition ended up getting 1.6 million signatures. She also got the attention of notable celebrities like Lupita Nyong'o and Pharrell Williams. All right. So Miss Opal Lee's dream became a reality in 2021 when President Biden signed a bill making Juneteenth a national holiday by law. And Miss Opal was present for the signing of that bill, too. Miss Lee believes the racial reckoning of 2020, when the world watched the murder of George Floyd and then marched into the streets to protest his unarmed and other unarmed Black murders at the hands of police. She believes that helped drive the momentum for Juneteenth to become a holiday. Miss Opal said, young people, and everybody's a young person if you're not 97. I want young people to recognize that we can make a difference. All right, so Miss Opal Lee, the grandmother of Juneteenth, was honored for her dedication to humanity by receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Joe Biden, and from one Black woman to another. Thank you. All right, my next segment is readings and ruminations, my ever-growing TBR list, and what I'm reading. So I'm currently rereading The Alchemist, but not really, because I keep putting it down. But I'm about halfway through, and I need to pick it up and finish it off. I'm hoping to get it done by this weekend. If you've never read The Alchemist, I highly, highly recommend it. It's a short, easy read filled with universal truths that help you think more about your purpose and destiny in life. And I just love it. It's about my fourth time reading it. And I always pick up something new. There's always a new gem that I take away from it. And it's by Paulo Coelho. All right, so I'm also listening to On the Same Page by Haley Cass. I learned about this author just the other day when a member of the Sapphic Book Club on Facebook asked about some recommendations. And the synopsis is Riley Beckett met Gianna Makinen, drop dead gorgeous influencer, trilingual daughter of world famous models. Yes, that Gianna Makinen. Their first year at Boston University, and it changed everything for both of them. After all, when you find the person who just gets you, nothing feels quite the same, right? And in the 10 years, Riley has come to depend on Gianna more than anyone in her life. She knows Gianna just as well as she knows herself, maybe better some days. She knows Gianna is incredibly sex positive. She knows Gianna doesn't do romance or relationships, and she knows nothing could ever come between them. This is what makes sense to her. But when a holiday party mix-up sets in motion a domino effect of changes to these previously inalienable truths, Riley has to question everything she thought she knew about their relationship. What actually does Gianna mean to her after all? So far it's been good. I'm enjoying it. I'm on chapter 3. And I'm going to let y'all know how that goes. Right, the next segment of the show is Rainbow's Corner. Okay, this is where I read my works. Sometimes I discuss themes and characters and plots from my books, stories, or works in progress. Okay, stories that resonate with me that I'm reading. I may discuss them here. All right. But today, I want to share a poem I wrote about Oscar Grant. Like many Black people who've been murdered at the hands of police officers who took a sworn oath to protect them, I'll never forget learning about Oscar Grant's murder. His murder had a profound impact on me for two reasons. One, I had recently just moved to California from Nashville, where I attended undergrad. And two, the United States had just, like a few months earlier, made history by electing its first Black president. You may have heard of him, President Barack Obama. Something many of us actually never believed would happen. So I'm riding this high, from my move to Cali. The place where my mother was born, a place she talked to us about so often as being just so many things: fruit trees in the backyard, sun shining. She went to school with all different types of people. She didn't experience segregation until she moved to the South. And, of course, all these fairy tales you hear about Cali being so progressive, right? So all of this stuff's in my head, and I'm just excited to be here, you know. I'd only been in Cali for about 5 months, and on January 1st, 2029, Oscar Grant, lying belly down on the subway platform with his hands handcuffed behind his back, was shot in his back and murdered by Bart police officer. He was barely 22 years old. Okay. And I watched that video, y'all. It was something that for me cannot be unseen, which is why as I've gotten older and wiser, and for the sake of my spirit and sanity, I do not watch recordings of unarmed Black people being murdered, all right, under any circumstances anymore, because those are just things you just, for me, they never leave my mind, they never leave my memory. But the cop who killed Oscar Grant, he was charged with second-degree murder, which is why I titled the poem that I wrote about Oscar Grant Murder One, because he should have been charged with first-degree murder. And I recall listening to the verdict after the trial. I was in San Francisco. This is during the time when I had spent one of my summers in San Francisco. So I was right there in the Bay, staying and living in Hunters Point. And the most dangerous thing that could have happened to me during that time was being accosted by a police officer, right? So I'm living in Hunters Point, one of what they would have considered at the time, and I don't know what they would consider it today, one of the most dangerous areas in San Francisco. And for me, one of the most dangerous things that could have happened to me was being accosted by police officers. So the impact that the taking of Oscar Grant's life had on me could only be released through my pen, and I'm going to share it with you today. It's called Murder One. Murder One. Who knew the new year would end? A drunken quarrel, maybe. Or maybe they were sober. Or maybe it would have ended, or maybe they got into a fist fight of pride, like young boys do, men too, only to be friends again tomorrow. Everyone going their separate ways to forget about it and celebrate something new. He knew. Something inside of him knew from where his anger grew. His innocent blood must haunt him in his dreams, haunting like Oscar Grant's mother's restless nights without him. Where are you, son? She must cry. And somehow the murderer ended up in another state. Not upstate, like men do who kill. The charge? Murder one in the first degree. If he were Black like me. Like a thief in the night, white covers and the like, legally now, by men who wear badges and shields, legally subdued. Fear pulsating through Oscar Grant's veins as he lay, one shot hotter than fire with the force of hate. A century of violence reignites and explodes. If we must die, let it not be like hogs. The dream deferred of the murdered one. This poem was dedicated to the life of Oscar Grant. May we forever say his name. This is a new segment of the show that I'm bringing to you all this season. So I've decided to create this new segment called Teachers Are Powerful. As an educator, I don't feel respected. I don't feel appreciated or recognized as a true professional capable of powerful things. Even though I hold one of the most powerful positions as a professional, and that is being directly in charge of the future, right? So my position is definitely a powerful one. I am a part of making the future bright for all of us. All right. Literally, I am in charge of the future minds of the city I live in, the state I live in, and the country and the world that we all live in. And so are other educators, right? So yet we're often treated like we do what we do is beneath other professionals. We're treated like what we're doing is for play. We're touted as glorified babysitters in a lot of ways, and we're also treated that way. And we are not treated like true leaders in the world of professionals. So this segment, which really is a movement that I am hoping to start, is designed to change that. What prompted Teachers Are Powerful for me is last summer, I was sitting down talking to one of my friends, and she was discussing a program her job was trying to implement within the realm of education. I don't remember the entire conversation, but I do recall telling her that I think the role she wanted to fill needed to be filled by a teacher. Just the back and forth we had about whether a teacher was the appropriate person for the role and whether a teacher had the power to be in the role and have any type of influence and make any changes was like, it was like the last straw for me, honestly, because one of the things that happens in education is a lot of people have conversations about education without talking to educators. So I was sitting there thinking about how tired and fed up I was with people trying to play us short, like we became teachers because it was the only thing we could do with our lives, and like it's so easy to become a teacher in the first place. And I want people to stop doing that, especially in the state of California. I'm gonna need that to end. Okay. Because do you know how many tests that I had to take that they make us take in order to become teachers? To date, let me just run it through to you. Let me run it back. Let me run it down to you. To date, I've taken the CBEST, which includes 3 separate tests. Okay. I've taken the CSET, which includes 4 separate tests. I've taken the RECA test, which is a reading test. I completed 3 years of grad school. That's after 4 years of completing my bachelor's. Add on an additional 3 classes after that, including student teaching. And that was after I did 3 years of job placement as a teaching internship. I also had to take and pass what they call Cal TPAs, also known as the test from hell, okay, which includes cycles of video recordings and hours and hours and hours of writing, which I don't think anyone is really reading. All right. So when people try to play in my face and talk to me like I'm short, I've begun to take that really personally as an educator. I really have. It has happened to me so much over the course of my time as an educator, as a professional educator. I've been in education for over 20 years now, but teaching in the classroom, I've been doing it for 15 years. And at one point, I may have even believed what some of these people are saying about the field of education because I was just hearing it so much and experiencing it so much. Things got a little better for a little minute. Y'all remember 2020 during the pandemic, and people had their kids at home and had to help them learn? Then people were like, please pay them teachers. Please support them teachers. Teachers are amazing. Of course, that didn't last long. We are a microwave society with social media clip memories and attention spans. I get it. After all, I am a teacher. And here's the part for me. So many people remember just how powerful their teachers are and have been in their lives. There are so many events I attend and so many stories that I hear of people talking about the power of having a particular teacher in their lives, and what the impact that teacher had on them. Most recently, me and my wife, we went to listen to Nicole Hannah Jones speak, and she discussed how one of her teachers opened up a world for her that was the stepping stone to putting her in the position that she's in today. And so many people remember these powerful teachers in their lives, these life-changing teachers. Just like they remember the toxic ones, they remember the toxic ones too. Those school to prison pipeline teachers. I hear you. I know some of you are saying like not all teachers are not all teachers are positive, but this space is for those teachers and those stories too. So don't worry, we're gonna get into that. But this space, this movement is needed, and this is the place to tap in and tell your story, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm going to do my very best with the vision I've been given. Teachers are powerful. Tap in. All right, Black, local, independent. You can be one, two, or even all three of these things, but you can't be none. So y'all know what time it is. This is a segment of the show where I talk about a black artist or a local artist, a local store, independent store, something of that nature. But today, I'm going to talk about events happening in and around Sacramento this summer. And I'm just going to bring out through a list of a few things just so have some idea of what to do to get out and get out in that sun if that's what you like to do. So for one, there is, and this is all on Eventbrite, so you can go check it out there, sign up, get your tickets and all that good stuff. There's a book discussion called I'm Not Yelling by Elizabeth Laba. It's a Black woman's guide to navigating the workspace. And let me tell you, this is happening on Wednesday, June 26th from 4 to 6 p.m. and it's on Zoom. So it's online. You don't even have to leave your house. But let me tell you, the title of that, it's definitely gotten me wanting to sign up because I definitely need to be in the place, traversing these very white systems in these white spaces in America. It's a lot. Another event's happening on June 22nd. Okay. This event is from 7 to 9 p.m. It's called Black Magic Coven. It's a burlesque and drag celebration of Black Pride because y'all know it's still Pride Month. Yeah. So get out there and celebrate Pride for sure. There's also another event coming up called Fundraiser featuring the Black Irish Band. That's Saturday, June 27th from 4 to 7 p.m. And this one is going to be located at Bright and Broderick Community Center. Okay. So be sure to check that one out. All right. I didn't tell y'all where the burlesque show is going to be at. It's going to be at a seat at the table. And then the last event that I'm going to talk to you all about is called Safe Black Space, Special Reparations Community Healing Circle. And that one's happening at California State University on Saturday, June 22nd. You can check out Safe Black Space, Special Reparations Community Healing Circle. If you're interested in getting out, or even if you want to stay at home and hit that Zoom and check out that that book talk, which I'm probably going to do. There you have it. Some things to do in and around Sacramento. Rainbow Peace and Friends, it's time for me to share my positive thought for you for this episode. And today's positive thought comes to us from the Grandmother of Juneteenth, Miss Opal Lee, who we learned about today. And Miss Opal Lee shares with us, Juneteenth means freedom for so many people, for so many reasons. I try to get people to understand it's not a Texas thing. It's not a Black thing. It's freedom for everybody. I'm hoping eventually we will celebrate from the 19th of June to the 4th of July. That will be celebrating freedom. Remember my words for safekeeping. Remember what I say. Freedom is for everyone. Juneteenth is for you and me. Yes. And in the spirit of her call to action, which is celebrating freedom from June 19th to July 4th, that's exactly what me and my family are going to do. And I hope you and your family join us. Freedom is for everyone. All right, that's all the time we have today. Thanks for joining me this week on Verde's Folding Chair. And thanks for bearing with me as I learn to navigate the world of podcasting through video as well as audio. And if you like what you heard and you want to stay connected with your girl, please join me on IG at _writer_Verde. You can find me on Twitter at Verde_Arzu and or Facebook at the writer Verde Arzu. I'm also on LinkedIn, y'all. I'm everywhere. Okay, so you can catch me on LinkedIn under the name Verde Arzu. And you can also find a copy of my book, Rainbow, a Black queer novella, and other Rainbow merch on my website, verdearzu.com. Rainbow, a Black queer novella, can also be purchased online at Amazon and Barnes & Nobles, as well as independent retailers. I'm out here, y'all. I'm telling you, I'm out here. So if you like what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to write a quick comment, like the post, share this episode with your friends and fam, and share it on social, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Any of these things that I'm recommending that you do, these are all optional, but they're also free and takes up so little of your time. But it means the world to me as a Black independent artist. I appreciate you, Rainbow Peace and Friends. And remember, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Thanks for listening. Peace, love, and rainbow.